onto Route 390. My officer then exited his patrol vehicle, was able to go around the guardrail, looked down onto 390, and unfortunately saw as the suspect was struck by a motor vehicle. The vehicle was traveling southbound on 390 at the time, and at that point my officer ran down onto Route 390, provided some life-saving measures. Unfortunately, the individual succumbed to injuries down there on the expressway. And at that time, we shut the expressway down, so there's a large closure this afternoon, which affected a lot of travel. As we conducted our investigation in that area, we contacted the New York State Police to assist us with the accident, and also the New York State Attorney General's office. Any questions?
Was anyone else injured? The folks who were in the car that may have hit him, was it multiple cars that hit him? Was anybody else injured?
Yeah, it was one car that struck the suspect, and the individual from that car went to the hospital just to receive some medical treatment. It appears, and I'm not a doctor, that it may be an injury sustained from the airbag that person had, but they were definitely taken and transported for safety reasons and to get checked out.
And to be clear, Chief, was your officer chasing this individual?
I guess the officer had turned around observing the individual. He was going to get out on foot to chase him. And at that point, the individual had run down the embankment, so the officer was making that judgment to go try and pursue the person on foot. I watched the body camera in this case. I would not expect anything else from this officer. He did an amazing job. He went over to catch somebody who just committed a crime in our town. And unfortunately, that person took the route of running down onto an expressway and was struck by a vehicle. And then at that point, too, the officer, without hesitation, ran out, waited for the traffic so that he could get out onto the road safely, went out and started CPR, rendering life-saving aid to the suspect. So, again, an awesome job by my officer.
And how is that officer doing?
The officer is doing okay. I personally spoke with him. Definitely in shock. Definitely going through some issues at the current moment. So we're there to hopefully support him and get him back on the road as quickly as possible.
And I mean, you guys probably never, expect for something like this to happen, but I would imagine, being right near the expressway like that, there's got to be some training that, goes into the work that you guys do. I mean, talk a little bit about what some of that training is to be ready for situations like this.
Yeah, unfortunately, we in the town of Gates have a large amount of expressway, and this isn't new to us. We've had larcenists, people on traffic stops, flee us before, run out onto the expressway. There have been times where people have been struck by cars or people have made it safely across. Unfortunately, at this time, it was during a busy part of the afternoon where there's a lot of traffic on Route 390 in the area at Lyle. And unfortunately, this individual did get struck by a vehicle. It's not something we look forward to doing and chasing people down onto the expressway. But at the same time, we have a duty to go apprehend people when they've committed crimes in our town, and we'll continue to do that.
And where's the investigation right now?
Yeah, so the investigation at the current time is in the hands of the New York State Police and the New York State Attorney General's office. Anytime an incident occurs where somebody dies in relation to any police-related matter in the state of New York, the Attorney General gets involved and they do their independent investigation. So that's in the hands of them at the current moment. We've investigated on our end too the actual larceny at the location here in Gates, and the three of us will work together as a team to put this all together.
Mm-hmm. And I know in the release you had said that, you can't really identify the suspect or go into specifics. Are you able to at least share if the suspect was known by Gates Police, leading up to this?
Yes, the suspect is known by the Gates Police Department for issues in the past. So at that point, once we've identified them, we're waiting to notify family members, and then we'll release that information to the public. But at the current moment, we want to have that ability to notify family before, they learn about it on social media or something.
Do we know if this individual was a homeless person? Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Do we know if this individual was a homeless person?
That I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
What amount of food was stolen?
I'm sorry?
What amount of food was stolen?
We're still determining how much the value was, but it was multiple meat products that were stolen from the location.
And, was there any risk to the people who were working inside the store? Obviously, if this person was in there taking things, just wondering that.
Yeah, no, there was no risk to the employees. It doesn't look like any of them engaged this individual. There's no fight. Just, unfortunately, a run-of-the-mill larceny from a store. But they were able to get good information to provide to the officers as far as the suspect description.
Chief, is this the first time you've been called to that Aldi's for folks perhaps stealing? And also if you could talk to me about larcenies that you have been seeing in the town.
Yeah, unfortunately, this location has had larcenies before, with the way the economy is, the way the changes in society have been over the past years, addiction, any of the locations in our town and in a lot of other towns too. So it's not just a Gates specific thing, but any of the food stores, clothing stores, our dollar stores, believe it or not, you see a lot of this theft to support a drug addiction. Fentanyl, heroin is still very prevalent in our community. It's a problem, and the folks that are addicted to these substances will do anything to get the money to continue that addiction. So in this case, and this could be one of those situations where the theft was to support an addiction. It could be many different factors, and unfortunately, like I was saying, it's just plagued our community with the larcenies, and they're still there. They're not going away. We're coming into holiday season, so there's a lot of pressure on folks that may not have the means to provide for family members, the means to do that perfect Christmas that a lot of people see out there, and they'll go to whatever means it is to get that money to provide for their family members.
And I mean, with that in mind, as we're coming up on a season like that, I mean, any sort of preparations with the Gates Police, kind of as we head into these colder months, I mean, preparing for more things that may be like this that might happen?
Yeah, every year around this season, we do prepare. You get into your sales and your big hot ticket items at your stores go on sale. We're aware of that. We try to work with all of our retailers to provide the best coverage we can. And unfortunately, there's no means for us to stop theft. We're just out there to prevent as best we can and then to apprehend those individuals that do commit the theft. Because in the end, it affects all of us. Prices go up, or they lock things up behind glass doors. You go to some of the stores now, you can't even get soap. It's all locked up. You got to call somebody. But in our case here in this town, it's very busy. We have a lot of retail locations. We will have extra patrols during the bigger days, and we work very well with all the retailers in our town to try and prevent this as much as we can.
Are the thefts outnumbering your manpower, Chief?
I wouldn't say they're outnumbering the manpower, but there is a lot of theft in town, a lot of theft in Monroe County and the city as well, and it is really taxing for law enforcement as well as asset protection from the companies. Anybody that's working in those fields probably have seen an increase over the last couple of years, especially with drug addiction out there. The economy changes. This recent shutdown from the federal government, people didn't know what to do, didn't know how they were going to feed family members. So that's all affects their way of life and what they're doing out there. So unfortunately, that was something that spiked, and you could see it in the amount of reports here.
This year alone, Chief, you've had the Amazon shooting where a man was killed. You had the Wegman shooting where a man was killed. You have this incident where an individual was killed, and I don't even know how many more because I'm not up to date with the amount of homicides that Gates has been seeing this year, but just to name a few. Can you talk to me about that, where you are with homicides and what you're seeing this year? Are you seeing an increase, a decrease versus last year?
Yeah, unfortunately this year in the town, we've seen an increase in the homicides, specifically the two big ones were the Amazon and the Wegmans warehouse ones, because those were homicides that occurred either outside of or inside of a workplace. Very not like Gates. As much as people sit out there and talk about Gates and, it's just another extension of the city, it has city problems, all that for this area, it's not right. We have problems. Every town has problems. Every city has problems. Every village has problems. And unfortunately, we had 3 big problems now here in the town. It's definitely not the way Gates is all the time. Still spend a lot of my time here in the Gates community. I will support the Gates community forever. This is where I grew up, and this is where my roots are. And yeah, bad things do happen. Bad things could happen in the next town over, the next town up. They can happen in the city, they can happen in the county, they can happen out in farm country. And unfortunately, we just had a rash of incidents here, and you know, we'll, as the Gates community always does, we'll overcome and continue going on.
And just a clarification I'm seeking on this specific incident we're here for today. Was it the store that had alerted police of the larceny in progress? Was that how you guys found out about this even happening?
Yes, it was.
Okay, perfect.
Can you tell us if it was a city resident or a Gates resident, that's the victim?
As far as determining the current residency of this person, we do know they're from the area. Not sure where they're actually laying their head or where they claim residency at this current moment.
Was it a man, woman? Are you able to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I can say it was a white male, and you know, that helps, but we're further trying to make those family notifies. So.
When do you expect to have that? Do you know yet?
Hopefully we can get that done this evening, you know, find somebody and notify them, and then we'll be able to release more information tomorrow.
Expressway back open at this time?
I heard on the radio, I believe the state police did reopen the expressway. There may be a lane closure, but don't quote me on that one. I'm not sure. I haven't been out there in a while. So.
Just to be clear, he ran into the southbound lane
Yes.
and was struck in the southbound.
Yes. Yep.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.